was king. Through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage, our freedom was gained. In homage to those gone before us, the heroes of lands in the sun, we vow to join hands and to focus on building one Caribbean. Raise your voices high, sing of your Caribbean pride. Sing it loud and strong, feel our hearts beat as one. Celebrating song as we rise to heights where we belong. Sound the victory drum for Caracom. The great and diverse.
Welcome brothers, welcome sisters, welcome to our program On Target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socio-economic issues, or any topical issue of the day, any issue trending. But you too can determine what subject matter we speak about. There's always quite a lot of issues in Grenada that we could raise, and it's good to raise them. So welcome to our program. While we await your call, it's always of concern to us. Why is it that Grenada, Dominica, St. Vincent, the rest of the Caribbean do not put more emphasis on music in schools? I mean, that has been with us for generations. Since around 540, 640, around Gregory the Great, music was known to be taught in school. Around 1771 in the United States, more energy was put in it. By 1830, people found out or realized that it's very important to teach music with children. They believed that a lot of benefits were to gain if music was taught in school. Now, why is it the black man is so slow to respond? It's not that black people don't like music. We like music. Our whole history tells us that. We like to fit. We like to beat the drum, to blow the shell. Whatever musical instrument you have, we make use of it. But why is it we are not ready and prepared to pass on those talents to our children? I have spoken to many a man who were good musicians, but they never taught the children to play music. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre. Thank you for taking my call. I want to say congratulations to our former Prime Minister. You are now officially the leader of the opposition. And you too would help to play a role in our democracy, because with a good opposition, we'll help to keep a balance and keep things in check. And to those of all the parliamentarians that have, won their seats, and those who didn't, we say thank you for serving. You have served us well. And I especially want some of us who are supporters of maybe the winning party or so to take a page of one's book. And let us learn. We need to, sit back, relax, and take a check of what is going on. Know that there are lessons to learn, and that what goes wrong would always come wrong, and we too can play a role in the democracy. We need to watch our behavior, our deportment, and, just be kind to each other. Because at the end of the day, we all make up this rock we call Grenada, and we're part of it. So let us be tolerant. I especially want to say thanks to Ms. Dia Forrester, former Attorney General. Is a lady I fell in love with, just the way she deports herself and she carry out the nation business. I think she did us proud. And I believe, with qualification, these people will blossom wherever they go. And let us learn, people, that, the power is in the pen and in the man. And today you're up and tomorrow you're down. And it applies to all of us. So let's just be kind, let's be supportive, and work good together to serve this great land of ours. Mr. Pierre, somehow I have something that bothers me. Some of us do love animals and we want to keep them. But let us do what you have to do to keep them in our care. I find it strange that, I don't have a cat. And at 1:30 in the morning, a cat will be jumping in my house, in my room. Scaring my family. It's just not nice. And at the end of the day, when you do what might not be nice, then everybody comes down on you. So let us take care of our pets and make sure we don't disturb each other, especially in the middle of the night. Have a great day, Mr. Pierre, and thank you.
Yes, my sister, two important points. Take care of your cats, your pets. Yeah, people have to always pay special attention to our pets. In Grenada here, every 10 people you meet, particularly from rural Grenada, if you speak to them, they will have more than 10 dogs. And sometimes dogs are not treated properly. A lot of time, I don't know why people keep so many dogs. Because they're not running a kennel. And some people have a lot of cats. And they can't even touch the cat. They pour food outside in a container. They don't let cat come in their home. And the cats start to hunt and look for food. So sometimes you have a wild cat. It might be a neighbor cat. But that neighbor treat the cat like a wild cat. And it might be pestering you. So it's important. I don't know if appealing to the neighbor going to help. Because sometimes the neighbor afraid the cat. They cannot hold the cat for themselves. A lot of people in the veterinary department have had this experience that people call them to say, my cat or my dog is sick. And when they reach the people can't hold the cat. They expect the vet to restrain the cat. So it's a challenge. But sister, you're always welcome. Always very positive. The democratic system provides an opportunity for people to select the government of their choice. Sometimes I believe we're trying to manage democracy too much. We're trying to determine what age somebody must be to run for election. The democratic system gives you an opportunity. You're supposed to be able to read, and you're supposed to be I don't think you could be a prisoner. If you're in prison, you can't run for election. You have to be a Commonwealth citizen. They never talk about age. But sometimes you get people put so much emphasis on issues that I think should not have been an issue. And they make the fees someone have to pay to contest an election is minimal. And it is done for a specific purpose. So poverty must not prevent you from running for election. So all we need to do in Grenada is to respect the democratic process. One man, one vote. I saw on too much occasion that people want to manage the democracy. They want to determine who should run and who should not run. And if things are repeated regularly enough, people start to believe that is the truth. That's what propaganda, disinformation brings about. People repeat it over and over. Might say, well, you're too tall, you're too tall, you're too tall. After 5-6 years, people believe you're too tall to run. You're too old, you're too old, you're too old. And then you hear people start to regurgitate that view. And that, I believe, is managing the democratic system. I see it all the time. I observed it over the last couple of years. One of the big issues that was brought in was the Prime Minister's age. Well, Kit Mitchell was the most successful politician in Grenada and the Commonwealth. And it was in the interest of any opposing party to have him out of the way. Well, they couldn't use academics. They couldn't use success because he was winning all the seats. So they had to jump on the issue of age. I was disappointed that the NNP themselves seems to accommodate the NDC agenda by speaking about age issue. When you are an individual who was by all visible means was very healthy and alert and was very successful. Yes, caller, welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm picking you up according to my location. So, am I on air?
Yes, you're on air and we're hearing you loud and clear.
Right, okay, good. Well, I think as usual, I want to say congratulations to all the people who won the seats in the general election gone and whatever else and whatnot. And I look forward for the betterment, the real unity among us and whatnot, the changes. But at the same time, as I didn't hear you for today, but last week when I get to listen to you and whatnot, I just kind of understand some of the areas you're coming from and whatnot, etc. But you see, you tend to have a little problem. I've been looking at a situation where we were in a condition with one party in office for the longest while. And then we didn't have an opposition, a true opposition. And then when we did get a true opposition, when we did get an opposition, it was like a kind of still one-sided kind of thing. But anyway, I want to go further, but I believe I have a call coming, so I'll have to take it. Yeah, next time.
Yes, thank you, caller. The democratic system, I don't know why the democratic system provides for you to go to the polls and winner takes it all. If one side win all the seats, that is what the people want. If one side win 9 seats and another side win 6, that is what the people want. All we have to do is to respect the process and the principle of one man, one vote. So the fact that the NNP has 6 seats in parliament, that is what the Grenadian public wants. Based upon the principle of one man, one vote, they want NNP in the opposition. And I think that might be a very good thing. And they want NDC in the government. And that might be a very good thing. We don't have to manage the process. I've heard a lot of people asking that Dr. Mitchell should choose a successor. The democratic process of the political party states that you go in a convention and anybody can put up their name and contest for the party leadership. Once they meet the party requirements, that should be the process. No one should be selecting a leader, a hand-picking a leader. That is the democratic process. I think it's similar for the NDC. They go through, they find a leader. If you even go and get a leader, then they should go through the process. I think what we are not respecting is the democratic process. Once political parties work with the democratic process as much as possible, I think they could be successful. I believe that our politicians are the most genuine, conscientious, and honest people in all professions in Grenada. I've been observing the politicians for a very long time, and I believe generally our politicians in Grenada are very genuine. They make genuine attempt to change things. Some are more successful than the others. We criticize our politicians the most. No other profession in Grenada is subjected to the level of criticism that comes to our politicians. No other profession. Not lawyers, not medical doctors, not public officers, not police, not businessmen. From the day you enter politics, you under scrutiny with a microscope. Your family is also under scrutiny. And if you are successful in politics, every day, more criticism. No other profession in this country. And I think politics have some of the least financial rewards. They have the least financial rewards. And when individuals leave the political arena, they are treated with the most disrespect. Because normally you will have a big chunk of people in the country that is against them. Whether you're in NNP or you're in NDC or whichever political party you're in. And your name will ring forever. Particularly if you were successful. So for instance, I've said before that Dr. Keith Mitchell, Gregory Bowen, and Nazim Book has been the three most criticized and abused politicians in Grenada. But Dr. Keith Mitchell was the most successful. So obviously the most amount of criticism come to him. To the extent that some people appear to hate him. Just in the same way some people appear to have hated Eric Gary with a passion. And if you ask them what is the reason or justification, they don't know. And we have a free media now. So individuals could go on the radio and spit out their public hate for any individual. No other profession in this country is subject to that level of criticism and abuse and verbal abuse. But that is the nature of the job. This has prevented a number of people getting involved in politics. Some people get involved in it. But once you get involved in it, and you already face this level of criticism, you want to win. It's obvious. Because that's perhaps is the only juicy part of it, winning. So now we are very fortunate in Grenada that the democratic process is alive and well and working. And the integrity of that process is intact. It is better in Grenada than perhaps anywhere else in the Caribbean. And we should be proud of it. I don't normally support or encourage anyone to provide criticism without reason, without rationale. Sometimes in my dialogue with others, I always ask, what is your justification? You don't have to give a reason because we live in a free democratic country. And we have freedom of the press. The press is free so people could express themselves. And I agree with that. And you can give us a call. I'll try to read this statement here from Oliver Phillip on Facebook. Yes, they were using this as a means to discredit him, but it isn't the democratic right to do so. They didn't arrest him and threw him into prison because of his age. That would be unconstitutional. However, people use whatever means at their disposal to win an election once they are not breaking the law. And I agree with you, Philip. Once you're not breaking the law, you could use any means you get, even if it is trying to discredit an individual unfairly. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't speak about it. If we notice that people are using camouflage truth. If we notice people are propagandizing, it doesn't mean that we should not take issue with it. I believe on Facebook, on social media, some people went out of their way to distort the truth. On about 3 occasions, I had to take on a friend of mine, very active on social media, Dennis. Once I had to point out to him that I don't encourage anybody to peel stone, although he claimed it was figuratively speaking. Because one minister of government, a female minister of government, got wounded from missile pelting in a political meeting. And she had to receive stitches on her leg because she was hit either by a bottle or a stone. No one wants that. So if I see individuals trying to incite violence on social media and they are anyway close to me, I always want to point out to them. It's not good. It is not good to distort the truth. And it's not good to incite or encourage violence. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon again. Mr. Pierre, the carnival season is here and we welcome it. But let us as parents, as mothers, as guardians, please talk to our young people. And let them know that, how important it is to be tolerant. And you don't have to go to these activities with weapons. It is not good. Condolences to the family that would have lost their son on Sunday. I don't know what it was about, but it is really not good. One is in mourning, one has to go to the courts and to the prison. Think about your sons. Think about your sisters, the pain that they have to go through. And, it's so much when you have to find money to go to the funeral agency. We could do without these things. If we're going to just have fun and celebrate, we could really do without these things. And I urge all of us to look out for each other and, just stop and think. Because at the end of the day, it is not good, for our generation. It is not good for our younger ones among us to see and to learn. We need to stop and, do the right thing. My condolences again. And as we look forward to this season, let us be careful and be a little bit more tolerant. Have a great evening, Mr. Pierre. Thank you.
Yes, my sister. And I always believe that we're going to have more instances of violence in Grenada. Of the 30 countries in the world with the highest murder rate, 9 of them are from the Caribbean. Grenada is not in it. But I believe that a number of things is laid on the groundwork, on the ground, for increase in violence among the males. I just zero in around the boys. Because we have a lot of jab activities these days. By the time you blow the shell and you beat the drum, you have more boys than you want. It's difficult to get them in a cricket field. I know some cricket teams that did not used to struggle for players in yesteryear are struggling now. But if you beat the drum and you blow the shell, you have more than enough young men trying to be rougher than rough. In Jamaica is a common expression. They want to be rougher than rough. In Grenada, once the drum beat and the shell blew, the jab ready for action. And because of the fact that we do not have much groups in the society again, so the socialization between communities is not there. The level of tolerance of individuals working together, they have no practice. The schools have no more groups. no cultural group, no hiking group. The scouts are disappearing. 4-H is only standing up as a skeleton because government have paid 4-H officers going around. Some school gardens turned to bush. Musical instrument was donated to some school and it is rattling. Table tennis board was given to some school. Well, it is rattling too. And this is why I advocate and encourage music in school. The expert will tell you, they'll give you a number of benefit, advantages of teaching music in school. That might help our children, help them in development of reason and language, improve their coordination, their emotional development, enhance their auditory skills. It might improve creative thinking. It could also contribute to less tension. These things are there. It has been since 1830, more and more emphasis are placed on music in school. Maybe some parents have to take it on their own and work together in the communities, even 3 or 4 parents, and try to provide music education for your children. Government has just said, Prime Minister Dick Mitchell has just said, education is free. No more fees in school. The government canceled that. Well, I've heard that before. But every time you have no more fees in school. So the money that parents will save from paying for the fees in school, why not invest it in your child? That may help. Now look at the children that are getting in the most difficulties, the antisocial behavior. If we pay attention to that, we may realize that the majority of them are exiting school and not meeting the minimum requirement. And because we do not have active groups in school anymore, well, I should say less active groups in school, the possibility of socialization between children from different villages and different communities are disappearing. I always want to applaud the PBC for the choir. A lot of the young boys cherish it. Some children want to go to school. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
For everything.
Great, man.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, I do believe to election a leader, you must go through the convention. You must go to the convention where some names, 4 or 5 persons may come up, and then in the convention you get introduced to leader. I can remember Eric Matugeri said that if he choose a crapple and if he put enter on, he's going to win. Alright, that is over. The right thing to do, as the committee said, you go through the convention and you get a leader to lead. Sometimes people encourage you, want you to do certain things. But you have to look at things what people encourage you to do. He may encourage you to do things that way could be chaos and division within a party. And once you go through, you have to go through the right procedure and let the delegate in the convention elect the leader to lead the party. And I agree with the committee, you do the right thing, which is right thing, right. I want to say again, because I remember before the election, where in party representing government was saying that when they come in office, they're going to make an empty treasury. We just not no money. But they sing a new song where there's a lot of money in the treasury. Because I knew and they also changing what they were saying. Because they say, no, well, he thought he would win. So then that's why he laid him money in treasury. In treasury. Because you have to give kudos to this government, to the NMP government. Because they manage the country properly, right? With the system and what they were doing. So then it is not nothing to do with he knew it a win or he didn't do, he thought he would win or that he got proper management of the country, right? And now the leader said that there is money, sufficient money there to do things. So I want to say to you that yes, we can see they want to change. They get a change. But then we are always very careful. Change from what to what? Yes, so they ask for that, they get that. We have to respect the opinion and the choice the Greener people made. Not every time, not even when you want something, you get it. But I always say, what you want to get it, in order to condemn and criticize and say okay, let us go back to the bargaining table and do what we have to do and come again. In every situation, you might find the enemy might be pounding your heart, and you're going to let you have to go back, retreat, and go come again. And this in anything you have to do in cricket, any sports game, you have to do that. You have to do that. And in politics, you have to do that. To Mr. Pierre, I want to say to all the graduates, the schools that graduation that taking place, I want to say kudos and congratulations to all the children in the primary school, the CX in the secondary school that will be graduating today. I want to say congratulations. I want to also let them know that is not the end of it. The work just start and the work get harder. So one thing you have to say, you have to know your purpose. Why you enter into a learning institution. When you enter into a learning institution, is to educate yourself. Educate yourself and make yourself proud, make yourself happy, and make your village happy. I want to say also congratulations to the teachers of all schools for doing a wonderful job with the children, for letting them be successful, letting them be for that they be successful in passing this CPA exam and every other exam that they did. Congratulations to the children and to the parents for a wonderful job well done. We can always speak about teachers and the students, but parents also have to be congratulated first, making sure that the children spend time studying and helping them with the tools that they have to get. And something I want to say also again, you see, not buying the school uniform and buying the books, but also encourage the children and them to spend time with the book, spend time with the book. We have many times people who collect, they want to spend the heart on things, going on faith. And when school open, they have money. Peer parents, be wise. Be wise, study your children. There is a time for play, but there is a time for work. But study your children education. So Mr. Pierre, have a blessing.
Thank you, Color. Color, I believe that our parents are not doing enough. Our parents have to be hungry for education. And I've gone beyond that. I stop talking about parents. I say women in Grenada is not hungry enough for education. And your children are not doing good enough in school. We have to stop, jumping up for mediocrity. 70% of our children are exiting school without the minimum requirement. And I think the people who are chiefly responsible are women. Why do I say that? 60% of the households in Grenada are led by women. 60% of the household. In the areas where men lead, they have to have the support of the woman. If the women don't agree, the men cannot lead. So even in the household, where the men appear or seems to be in charge, he have to get his woman permission. The majority of educators in the country are women. The majority of politicians in the country are almost women. So women are the ones responsible. They have to get hungry for education. They will spend $1,000 easy on graduation. but they would not spend anything on additional support for children to go to school. I think everybody in Grenada knows the value of music to a child. When Emanuela and Auntie come in Grenada, you see amongst the people go and enjoy the children music, the children acting. Sometimes I wonder if they don't ask, where are Grenada Auntie and Emanuelas? Our schools don't even have a cultural program. Only PBC, only the Presentation Boys College in Grenada, you hearing about boys choir. Not even primary schools. No cultural club. No musical group. The table tennis is in St. George's. Some of the schools in the rural Grenada, they have table tennis board. Pack up in a corner in the school. So, why is it the schools are not understaffed? Or let me put it that way. They are better staffed than any other time in our history. Government now say that education will be free again. You hear us say free again. Because when you say education is free, that is relative. You take out the fees, the school fees, and then you add other fees. But right now, parents would have to spend less money on their children's education. So perhaps it's a good time to encourage parents, that which you save, spend it on other extracurricular activity. Remember, our educators are on work to rule, so they are not providing additional assistance for your child. And only about 20% of the children in Grenada are doing very well. And this is one of the contributing factors to the difficulties we have on the employment market. Because children are exiting school without the necessary talent, skills, and attitude to be competitive on the job market. The majority of young people in prison did not have a good school education. The majority of people on the job market, they don't have the talents or the skills. We see the attitude of a lot of successful Grenadians against programs that will help unemployed people. You see the attitude of a lot of our success stories in Grenada against some of the programs that the government have, or the government offering, that could help the students or the young people that are not as competitive on the job market. So parents have to get more hungry for education. Politicians could always talk. It takes years to make a dent in changing mentality and attitude. Grenadian women have to get more hungry for their children's education. If you love your child, by the time your child has 5 years, start to expose your child to some musical education. Since the drum beat, your 3-year-old starting to whine. They know all the lyrics of the jab jab music. And the jab jab music rough. But your little children already whining to jab jab music and they know all the lyrics. So why not teach them to blow the shell? Why not teach them to play the guitar? Remember, a lot of our young people don't go to church as yesteryear. So there are some morals that they might have picked up in the church. There might some level of tolerance they might pick up in the church. But if you expose them to everything else, then what you expect would happen? I am not surprised that we're going to have more incidents of violence. We're going to have more incidents of stabbing. We're going to have more. It don't make sense pretending we do everything to lay the groundwork for it. Look at our level of bitterness and hate that we sometimes so readily express on social media. What do you think is the rippling effect on the ground? When you do not have groups and organizations helping our young people to socialize and to bond and to work together in a coordinated way. What do you think the result will be? You know, somebody say, and some of these children have good parental home. Well, some of them have good parental home, but they never help the neighbor. You see, you could go up in a home where your parents is well educated, your parents are hungry for education, and your parents understand, the parents understand what to do to make their children succeed. But they never help the neighbor. When they teach in school, they work to rule. So Zafir was the neighbor. But what happened is the neighbor child fall in love with their child. And all of them gone behind jab. And sometimes that child had come back dead. You see, we live in a small society. It cannot be about my child alone. It cannot be about your child alone. We have to try to develop the whole society. So if when our children go to school, the school implement the work to rule policy, and there are no groups in the school, there are no social groups, so where the children could learn or culture to function and to play and exhibit tolerance, a high tolerance level for one another. When they fet in and they drink some rum and the music say to mash up the bar if the drink's done. That's what the music say. Show me the tattoo below the navel and how to wine harder. You know, somebody gonna get roughed up. And when you get roughed up, if you don't bend over, you may get stabbed. And then you hear parents put their hand on their head and they're bawling. But it's in front of you every day. How many of them encourage the boys to be strong in the cricket club? Where is St. Andrew's Cricket Organization? Where is the cricket organization in St. Patrick's? Hermitage also had a cricket organization. Where is the one in St. David's? Where are the cricket organizations? Where are the clubs? Where are the groups? Where are the Girl Guides and the Scouts? Where are the concerts? When was the last time you went to a school end of term to see your children perform in a concert? What you have is straight jab drum now. And the jab on a regular basis. And all you have to do is to beat the drum and blow the shell. And the jab would come. We have a gentleman here on Facebook who's saying, I'm a long-lasting NDC, and I become very concerned in hearing my new government mention selling Green Lake. Well, I'm not surprised. You see, I'm in tongue long. When our forefathers wanted to control the factors of production, they know they had land, they had labor, but they sent the brightest sons to go to university to get initiative. And when our sons come back well educated, they sold the factors of labor, of production. They sold our assets. They sell the telephone company. They knew from university that was the areas that we're going to make money. Not in banana, exporting raw material to Europe. They were aware. They knew that our country cannot make money that way. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, caller, welcome.
How are you doing, man?
Great, man.
No, Mr. Pierre, all right. I hear what you say, and what you saying making a lot of sense. But I just want to say, look, these things don't happen by overnight. These things of them was properly orchestrated, right? You know, all the 4-H club, all the music clubs. Because this is a thing to build character. No, these are the things to build character, right? To build little moral standards and ethics and all these things that I'm. But the thing about it is, right now everything is just based on academic. Because listen, you there? Hello?
Yes, you're live. Go right ahead.
Right. If you look at something carefully, yeah. What percentage of our children, of our school children, is really interested in a good family life? Huh?
Well, they have not been cultured to do that.
Exactly. So in other words, where is the family? Where the family life that we say we build in, right? What it is going to nurture, right? Or social structure, okay, like the police, the teachers, and everything like that. As you write this here, we is a long way ahead. But I am just saying, this thing was properly orchestrated. This thing of them didn't happen by no accident. This thing is no accident. This thing was properly planned out.
Who you think plan out this thing first?
Huh?
Well, who you think do this planning?
Well, that's a good question. Well, you see, I could say something about what nobody may not believe, right? Because you see, the whole thing, Mr. Pierre, is about destroying the very moral fabric of society, right? Everything is being done. Everything is being done to destroy the very moral fabric of society, right? But Mr. Pierre, it is being done in a very subtle, psychological, methodical way. You hear me? And because it's the same. Okay, I don't want to go into Bible because as you mentioned, Bible is a set of controversy and set of thing. But the same Bible says, look, we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, but principalities, powers, spiritual weakness in high places. How come? Just the basic things that to keep to keep the moral fabric in society. Okay, that to nurture all our social. So all these things and them just disappear, Mr. Pierre. And you want to tell me that these things is by accident?
Well, it may not be an accident, but perhaps we were sleeping. And you see, if we don't point out these things in society, we don't provoke no discussion, we don't talk about it, we may not recognize that the sand is slipping under our feet.
Exactly. Okay, big, right. I don't want to be too long. How you could have children going to school and at the end of the day, maybe just, maybe if at all, maybe about just 40% or 20% really interested in a good family life. Then where is the family? Then where is the family? To keep the society in
My brother, that's why I think we have to provoke discussion and discuss it in our homes and in the neighborhood and among our friends. Yes, thank you, my brother. Yes, I think there must be some discussions on these issues. When we recognize things is not going the way we want or the way it should, sometimes it may not be wrong or right, but if we come together and hold discussion, we may come out with a better approach. If we notice that the media, the personalities on the radio, if we feel deep down that the utterance is divisive and is not in the interest of our development of our society, sometimes it's good to discuss the issue. We may not be in a position to say the wrong or the right, but maybe with discussion, they themselves may recognize that that path does not help our society. But definitely more have to be done. You see the sister saying it is not only the women. The women have just an important role to play in the children's education. I agree with you, Sandra, but I try to be very practical. As I observe what is going on in our society, the men's significance and their role is seriously diluted in society. And in very many cases, the women are completely in charge of their home. In fact, over 60% of the household in Grenada are led by women. So if the household is led by women, there is no man there to make the decision. It's the woman that's making the decision. Our education system is dominated by women. The majority of senior public officers is dominated by women. It appears very soon, even the police force will be dominated by women. So who are you going to ask to make the change? It can be men. Who are you going to ask to make this change? It have to be the women. If the women are growing up the children, and the children seems to becoming very antisocial, then you have to appeal to the women to get more hungry for education, for the children to have good education. You know, the children have to be multi-skilled. They have to be flexible. They have to be endowed with a characteristic that gives them the competitive edge in the marketplace. Otherwise, our country will continue to not move as fast as it could. Our population has not risen in any significant way in the last 60, 70 years. Although we have moved by leaps and bounds in our infrastructure. Our schools today are better than any other time in our history. Our infrastructure in Grenada today are better than any other time in our history. And our politicians have been doing a relatively good job, irrespective of all the criticism politicians get. I always feel that no political party have lost election because they did not perform. None of them. All the political parties in Grenada tried. They have lost election because they didn't play the politics correctly. But they have done a reasonable good job in improving this country's infrastructure to make it comparable in the Caribbean, better than most, and comparable with the best. Whether you're talking about electricity, telephone, water, internet, our roads, the network of roads, and the quality of the roads. We have made serious advances in sports, in some of our successes in the Olympics that should serve as a motivator for our people. In cricket, in female cricket, women cricket. We have had a sister, I think it's Afi Fletcher. Way back in the early days, we had Joan Alexander. That should serve as a motivator for our young people. We had a sister from St. Patrick's once excelling internationally in the field of netball. We are doing relatively well in swimming. So we have had success stories. So I believe that our politicians have done very well, irrespective of the level of criticism that we give them. And all these successes should serve as a motivator. We have over 500 soca artists singing soca. One or two of them is representing Grenada regionally and internationally. A little disappointed that some of them turn Jamaicans as soon as they're successful. It's practically an embarrassment. You have a Grenadian fighting to speak like a Jamaican, and they're representing Grenada. But all be the case, we have a lot of success story in that field. So obviously, I believe our women have to do more. People like to say men and women. No, men always out. Men went to war. Men traveled. Men went and fished. The women were the ones that chiefly responsible for the day-to-day activities in the home. And they are the ones, I believe, in Grenada that is falling significantly short in educating our children and being hungry for education. And the system practically neutralizes the effectiveness of the male in the home. And I think we have to face the reality. We must, otherwise we will continue on that trajectory. And I don't think it's wise. Grenada is a beautiful country. It is well respected in the Caribbean for its political maturity and its unorthodox behavior. Sometimes we defy logic, and our tolerance level must increase for one another, because we have the democratic system is very, very good. So I think now is a good time. Now is a good time for us to hold discussion among ourselves. And our people must believe they could solve our problem. See, this sister say, the media has a major part to play. The songs that are played the most on the air is not educating positive. The values are lacking. The soca artists and Calypsonian need to help to change our children towards the right path. Well, I agree with you, but remember who is playing the songs. Some of the songs that are playing in the parents' house. When you go to some school of activities, the principal of that school could dictate what music they want. If you have a family activity and you're hearing how she cock up and how she whine, who you blaming for that? We have a caller on the line, caller Punch. Yes, caller Punch. Oh yes. So we have to determine our value system. Sometimes you go to a church activity and you wonder the songs that are playing. So the music is there, you know. But there are time and place for the music. That's why I'm saying, if you playing jab every day, your daughter go turn a jab. Offer other genres of music. Let her learn to blow the shell. If a child could blow the shell, I understand it's very easy for them to blow the trumpet. So commercialize the thing now. So your daughter is a jab, but later on she could make some money from jab because she could blow the trumpet. And she'll learn to sing. It's not wine alone, she could wine. But if every month we have 3 and 4 jab activities, and you are not teaching music, the children are not learning other songs, it's only soca and jab. What in God's name you expect? If you plant potato, you expect pumpkin? If you continue to train your children to only participate in one type of music, what do you expect? And now that the government says free education, all parents have savings. So the women, you invest more in your children's education. I think it's unacceptable. It is not right for 70% of the children to be exiting school without meeting the minimum requirements. And everybody saying it's not them. Well, it have to be the women of our country. You are the one that are more involved in your children's education, particularly between 0 and 12 years. Particularly between 0 and 12 years. The mother is more involved in her children's education. In some instance, she and she alone, the man only pass. Sometimes the relationship is like a tourist relationship. When we see, we smile and happy, but we don't see regularly. But the children are with the women. The law now seems to be very protective of the women, and the role of the man is significantly diluted in our society. So the responsibility for the low productivity lies squarely in the lap of our women. And we want to thank you for being with us today, and our friends on social media who made comments. We want to thank you very much. And we're back with you tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity for you to punch.
We will lay